this is my sister-in-law, Kara, and she had 2 natural childbirths. She's had 2 kids, and that just means no epidural. So, Kara, can you tell us a little bit about your 2 experiences of having a natural childbirth?
Okay, so with my son, Caleb, I went in for, I was a week overdue. I went in for my ultrasound and there was really low amniotic fluid, so they sent me in to be induced, but first they gave me a hormone called Cervidil, so that would soften my cervix before they gave me Pitocin. But that ended up sending me right into labor, so I didn't end up getting Pitocin or anything like that. So with him, I knew I wanted to try natural childbirth, I think mainly just because I thought, why not? I figured I've never had a kid before, so I should just try it without. If I can, I might as well just try it without. And then see where it goes, see how it goes. Because I went into labor so quickly with him because of the Cervidil, I really didn't even have time to think about an epidural or anything because I was so focused on the labor itself, and everything was very intense. So for about 8 hours, I was like, I was in the bathtub for part of that. They had a hot tub in the room. And then the last probably hour or 2 when I got out, I was pushing and things like that. So the bathtub really helped. And then I was so focused on the contractions and getting through and just kind of experiencing the labor for what it was. So I didn't have time to really think about anything else. And no one actually brought up like, oh, do you want the epidural? Do you want this? I think everyone knew I kind of want to go natural, so it just happened.
Okay. Did you have a doctor or a midwife?
I had a midwife with both of
for both of them?
my son and my daughter.
Okay.
With Isabel, I wanted to try natural again because my first experience was pretty positive. It was what it was. Like, it wasn't horrible, and it wasn't easy. So with Isabel, I thought I might try it again. And with my first part of my labor, about 5 hours out of 8 total, it was great. The experience was wonderful. Like, my contractions were hard, but like I could get through it. I was making jokes with my husband.
Like compared to the other one?
Yeah, like I was with Caleb. I just was like closing my eyes for about 6 hours,
pretty much.
like intense. With Isabel, I was able to talk and like make jokes and be very like awake and like know what was going on. And then the last 2 hours with her was, I don't know the right word. It was horrible. It was a bit of a traumatic experience.
How big was Isabel?
Isabel was 9 pounds 9 ounces. Caleb was 8 pounds 2 ounces.
Okay, so that gives us
so that's a bit. She was a lot bigger. The last 2 hours, I think, when she was entering the birth canal and I started pushing, that was the contractions were so intense and so strong that it was really hard to get through them. They were way stronger than with Caleb. Way more intense, way like faster coming on. And then that last probably half hour of pushing, maybe 40 minutes, they call it like the ring of fire, where you can really feel the head coming out. So with no pain medicine, no nothing, I had like at the moment, thinking back, I had like a lot of fear because I didn't know if I could actually get her out because it hurt so bad. But yeah, it was. So that was a very different experience from Caleb.
Why did you not get the epidural? Thinking about it now.
Thinking about it now, actually, I didn't know this, but they did ask my husband if I wanted the epidural with Isabel, and I was so close to the end that Joe was just like, no.
She can do it.
And he knew I kind of wanted to. So
your husband was there with you?
Yeah, my husband was in the room with me. My mom came in for my second birth. Basically, I just held their hands and pushed, and.
So the second was a lot more traumatic.
A lot more traumatic, but it had good and bad. So the second one, I was much more awake, and like my first labor, the first part of labor was so much better.
Without the Cervidil or whatever.
Right, and so that first part of labor, I was probably from 0 centimeters to like 7 centimeters. Like I was fine. Yeah, it was bearable. It was just that last part, when things were getting really serious and Isabel was transitioning and coming out, that's when everything started getting like horrible feeling.
Now what about, how did you prepare? Was there any preparation for those 2 childbirths? Like did you and Joe, your husband, do anything ahead of time to look into it, to research?
No.
That kind of gave you, like, I should say, kind of motivation to do a natural childbirth, to actually do it?
There wasn't a lot actually. So my Ben told us to watch this movie called The Business of Being Born before we had Caleb, and actually that was really informational, and it kind of gave me that little like motivation to try natural, because I thought they basically in the movie they were just telling you that, like, you know, kind of like it's kind of the whole why not, if you can do it, do it. You know, so many women have done it natural, and now we have the drugs, and I'm not saying they're bad, but if you can try natural, then why not?
Gotcha.
So that kind of gave me that motivation to do it. And
so
then
you watched the video. Anything else you guys did? Like, did you go to any classes or?
We did do we did a Lamaze class. They didn't push anything. Like, they kind of talked about what you wanted to do. I kind of felt like I didn't even want to have a birth plan, because I went in saying I wanted to try natural, but I also was really, really flexible, and I was just wanted to do what was best for, like, my son.
Sure.
What was best for me.
Cool.
So I wanted to be, like, really flexible. But I will say, like, the pros of not having an epidural, at least from what I've been told and things, is you can't stand up and you can't really move. You have to lay in the bed.
Okay.
So with not having the epidural, I was able to move, and I had really bad back labor with Isabel. And so I could try like tons of different positions, and actually what worked the best for me and with Caleb was standing up and pushing. So I actually stood up and like basically squatted, and I pushed Isabel out standing up, which was so much more comfortable for me than laying down in a bed. So I will say, if you're like, that's one thing like I considered for my next child having an epidural, just because this one was really intense and hard. But then I'm really considering not at the same time, because I know I can't.
And you just had her a couple months ago, so
She's
I can
3 months
understand why after that trauma you're kind of just thinking other ways possibly. That's fine. Yeah. And then so you were informed. That's a big thing, I guess, right? That's why you to even know that. What would it be like to have an epidural? Some women don't even realize that would be the case until they go into it, right?
Right.
So you knowing ahead of time kind of gave you that understanding, which kind of gave you motivation to know like that those things you'd be able to do, right?
Yeah.
What about, okay, so one of my last questions is, do you think other women can do it if they want to?
I think anyone can do it. I don't have like a super high pain tolerance. I think I kind of made the decision in my mind. I really wanted to be natural, and like I said, there's not really a certain reason why. I think I just really thought, if I don't need the drugs, why do it? So I think if you get that in your mind, and even when you're in the like really the horrible, most climax pain, like, I don't know, like it was in my mind. The people in the room knew it, and I was already almost to the end. I kind of was like, what's the point now? So I think anyone can do it if you kind of feel like that's what you really want to do. Well,
is there any last words you want to say? That if someone's watching this video and kind of wondering about natural childbirth and just birth in general, what it's going to be like, anything you want to tell them?
Yeah, I would just say, like, again, like, why not? So if you're thinking about it, try giving it a chance. I mean, I had a great experience with Caleb. I mean, it was hard, but like, it was okay. Isabel was great the first half, hard the last half, but I'm still considering for my next child. Like, it's still in my mind that I might try it again. So I think if it's just like, why not give it a try? If you don't need the drugs, and don't do it.
Cool. Well, thank you, Kara, for your time and for your input. Hopefully this helps some people who are kind of looking into, just birth in general and what's gonna be taking place. So thank you. All right, bye. My wife, she's gonna give her experience. She had two natural childbirths, and just means no epidural mainly. And then she's gonna give you a little. Could you please explain to everybody your experience of the two natural childbirths, please?
So with my first one, my son, excuse me, he was born was like in about 20 hours of full labor from start to delivery, and yeah, with my first one, I kind of know what to expect, so we just start laboring at home. I think like for a very long time we also had a doula that we asked to help us out, so she came over. First we talked to her over the phone a little bit to kind of see how the progression was going, then she came over, and one of the things that she helped with most was giving me the lower back rubs. I told her, I'm like, that was like my drug, even though I didn't take epidural or anything, I'm like, that was like my drug to get through labor. I know like my husband tried a little bit, and a couple minutes later asked if the doula was free again, because she had like magic hands to help with the contractions.
Now, before the doula came over, did you think that it was time to go? Like did you feel like you're pretty far along?
I didn't really know. I kind of just felt like I would just go along with whatever she was telling me because she was kind of a seasoned veteran, had
Right.
her own natural labors and been a doula for many women.
So she came over, and there was still a good amount of time before we went in.
Yeah, there's still a good amount of time. I was able to like take a shower and I ate a little bit and tried to rest a little bit because I know it was going to be a long journey.
Okay.
Then with my second one, went to the hospital, or actually she was like about 10 hours from start to finish. That one we laid at home for as long as we could pretty much. Towards the end going backwards, my water broke in the kind of in the morning hours. And then we called the doula and just kind of let her know, called the midwife. And then we just, waited a long time till I had my first contraction. Then we ended up laboring as long as we could at home, and then my husband called the doula to come over to the house. And then like shortly after that, we went to the hospital. And once I got to the hospital, my husband told like the nurse and everything that I was pretty much ready just to go into have the baby, so to transfer me to the delivery room. And shortly after I got in the delivery room, then I ended up having my second one. Both times I didn't have any like painkillers or anything like that. With my first,
did you have to have anything to help you get started when you got there, Pitocin or anything?
No. With my first one though, let's see. After the birth, of course, like you have the you're kind of going through it, like it kind of hurts the contractions and they get more intense, and then you kind of just like, I don't know if I can do this. And my doula and my husband were really trying to reassure me, like, you can do this, you're doing great, just a little more, try and encourage me. And then after it took quite a while to like kind of push my son out. That seemed like forever, and it was a lot of work. And then after having the baby, after having him, I ended up hemorrhaging. Actually fainted a couple times. So they ended up giving me Pitocin just to help with, so I could stop bleeding and hemorrhaging. And then with my second one, Abby, the actual like labor was not as bad. Like the pain was, but like when I actually was pushing her out, she came out pretty fast, and I was kind of like, is that it? Like, she's done? Like, so that's my experience with my second one, as far as
Now,
that.
Noah, when you got to the hospital, what was your experience there? Like, you had an alternative birthing room, right? So did that help at all to be able to have a room that's not, where you just don't get, kind of tied down to the bed and stuff? Like, what was that like in the alternative birthing room?
Yeah, for both my alternative birthing room. For my son, they had like the birthing ball, birthing stool, different things I try to do just to kind of like let nature take over and like kind of make it so it'd be easy for my son to kind of just come down. I actually had them fill up the tub because I had heard so many great stories about women giving birth in the tub. But I never ended up in the tub, just because once I decided just to lay down, and once I laid down, I didn't get back up. That was just it. They said I could go in the tub. They said I asked them if it would slow things down. They said it might. They didn't, So I'm just like, no, I'm just staying here. And
how did you prepare for the natural childbirth, or did you prepare?
My husband and I took Bradley classes, which were really helpful, and we watched some natural childbirth videos and read some books.
Okay. And what you said you did the Bradley classes?
Mm-hmm.
So were all those things? Did all those things play a factor in you being able to do a natural childbirth, or do you think you could have did it without those things?
No, definitely I couldn't have done natural childbirth without the Bradley class, and the doula was like super helpful just in like helping me with times, like timing contractions and just like encouraging me and stuff like that. But the Bradley class, like really, they help like break it down, like what's going to happen each step of like birth, and just really encouraged us, and shows things to look for and a lot of things like that.
Okay, so my sister-in-law, my brother's wife had a natural childbirth. You had a natural childbirth, and so that's pretty cool that it's not just a fluke that she had it. You did it too. So, but do you think other women can do it? Do you think they should even try?
Yeah, I think definitely you should try, and I think that other women can do it. I think any woman can do it unless there's any kind of major complications. Of course, you just gotta make sure that of course the mom's healthy and the baby's healthy.
But you think they can do it if they want to?
Yeah, it's a lot of work and it's really trying, but yeah, I definitely think so.
And do you want to say anything to someone watching this who might be looking for information on natural childbirth or just childbirth in general?
Just like, do your research and like, just if you can, in my case, like a doula really helped, just encouraging and, yeah, I guess that's probably it.
Okay, so thanks for the interview.
Sure.
Thanks for your time. Bye.